guys, and welcome to Are You Brave Enough? I'm Amy, your host for tonight, and tonight our guest is Mark Brown. Tonight we're going to get to know Mark a little better. So before that, after the show, our very own Trudy is going to be doing readings on Trudy's Psychic Tarot Kent page straight after the show. But let's begin. Hi Mark, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. You had a good week?
Yeah, not done much, I have to admit.
Oh no, I wish I had. I've been at work, I have.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yeah. The very first question, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Where is your crew location?
My crew location, you could say, is Central South. That's basically.
Okay. And who's in your crew?
Well, it's me and Stu, my wife, but we also work with Di, Craig, and also we also work with Jackie and Stu.
Ah, brilliant. Nice bunch of people then that are, so.
Well, I won't go that far, but yeah, they're okay.
Absolutely. What got you into the paranormal?
A bit of a roundabout route. I was in the forces. In the time of the forces, joined the police. Now, both of those are very macho-based organisations, and I can't remember anybody in all the time I was in both services ever remember anybody talking about paranormal, ghosts, or anything spooky. It just wasn't talked about. It was something that I suppose that only people who are mentally deficient something believe in ghosts. That I believe is what they would have said.
Yeah.
And then I met Stu, my wife, and we were a bit stuck one year to watch by each other for Christmas. So we decided to go on a paranormal event, which is the beginning of the journey, I suppose.
Brilliant. So, how many years have you been investigating in the paranormal?
About 16 now.
Do you have your own private team?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have a private team. We're called Tricorn Paranormal. We're not a business. It's more of a hobby group, to be honest with you. Strange hobby.
It's an expensive hobby, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think we're lucky in the fact that you do get to know some of the location managers, shall we say, and sometimes the prices are how many people you take on an event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it is an expensive one, but in all honesty, I don't think you ever stop searching for it. I think you're always looking for something in the paranormal, something different every time you go.
Absolutely. So what is your favourite location?
Right. I have to be honest and say that it probably is a place called Verdun in France.
Okay.
Which may sound weird. It's actually a battlefield. So it's not inside, it's a battlefield. But in the UK, it would have to be something like Galleries of Justice.
Yeah, great choice. I love galleries.
Guy's Cliff House in Warwickshire.
Absolutely. Another great location.
Yeah, and Woodchester Mansion.
Absolutely. They are absolutely fantastic locations. I've been to all three of those locations quite a few times. So, right. Which location is on your bucket list?
That's Chillingham Castle, Northumberland.
I've stayed there. I stayed there for a week. I love the location. I know so much about the history there. The Gray family that originally owned it was Sir Humphrey's wife, Lady Catherine. She her family's the Grey family, like, and here's me thinking the 9-Day Queen and that lot, but no, her family is Earl Grey. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. No.
Did you not? Ah,
No.
full of useless information I am.
Handy for me.
Right.
No.
It is a great place to stay. I love it there. Right, we've got a question. Right, hang on.
Oh,
I don't know if we're having problems with the internet tonight. Hang on. Let me just put it up. Right. It's not letting me click it, but the question is, what's
yeah.
the most active location you have investigated?
That
And that was from Kevin Adlow.
that would have to be. I'm afraid Verdun in France. And I know it sounds really weird. Verdun. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows. A quick rundown on history of Verdun. It's in the northeast of France. And it's actually the reason why the Somme battle in the First World War was conceived, and it was to take the strain off the defenders of Verdun. Hundreds of thousands of men lost their life there, and a lot of the forts and stuff are still there, and you can get to them. And
Brilliant.
I have to say, it's the only place I've been to where you say, right, enough, I want to leave. It is the only place. We've heard footsteps on gravel while we've been standing there, walking in front of us. We've had stuff thrown at us, and this isn't just me. This is me, Sue. We used to go with a really good medium and his wife, so 4 of us, and even the 4 of us together, enough was enough sometimes. In the UK, apart from that one, in the UK it has to be. I think Guy's Cliff House is good, and also Woodchester Mansion for me. And Woodchester
Absolutely.
probably is the place where, once again, on the top floor at Woodchester, was the one place where I got the group I was without.
It's a phenomenal place, Woodchester Mansion.
Yeah, it's all different types of activity. You can't say, oh, you're going to see this or you'll feel this. It can, as everybody knows who do this, it changes all the time. The one time
Absolutely.
the one time that I went, we were actually doing glass divination, and I saw what I thought was like a golem figure on the floor, crawling along the floor. Okay, upstairs. And, you do think, oh, that's my imagination. I really didn't see that. And then this girl on my right, I always remember it. She said to me, she says, I think that's like. And I said, what is that then? And she turned around and she said, it's like a golem figure on the ceiling.
Do you know what, right? Woodchester Mansion is the only place I've ever been to where you go outside for a warm-up.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do it in the
It's
winter.
absolutely freezing there. Oh, no. Absolutely. Right, we've got some more questions, and I'm trying to find the one. All right, hang on. So I've got a couple of questions. Right, hang on. Here's one, I think.
Far away.
I'm having a right game with this tonight. Ants put, is there a location you always find yourself going back to?
The one location is the Skirrid Inn in Wales.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, oh yeah. That is the one location I would say. Well, once again, it every time you go there, it could be different. Don't get me wrong; it's not sort of buzzing all the time, and you can have your really quiet nights. But on other times you go, it can really sort of mesmerise you for what's going on.
Absolutely. We've had Jill. She says, have you experienced any negative energies?
Yes. When I first started doing this, or when I first started going on paranormal events, being from that macho type of image, the forces and the police, you're not really frightened of anything. and we went to help a crew near us with a corporate event for Vodafone. And I always remember it. We were upstairs with the corporate event. You know, there was about 20 people there in this room, and they all sort of lounging around the beds and the hallway. And one of the women in the chair was getting quite badly affected, and it wasn't great. This room didn't feel great. So she's sitting there, and she started shaking and crying at it. And I went over to her, and it didn't feel great at the time. So being a bit of a big mouth that I was, I turned around. I said, "Look, leave her alone. You know, you want to pick on someone, pick on me." I then moved away from the lady. She said, "Oh, I feel an awful lot better now. Thank you very much." So I then went and stood in front of this wardrobe, which probably was a really dumb thing to do. So I stood in front of the, being a bit of a big mouth that I was, I turned around. I said, "Look, leave her alone. You know, you want to pick on someone, pick on me."
Yeah. So I think Gary's hijacking it again.
Yeah. So anyway, I was stood in front of this wardrobe, and I was standing there, and I suppose I was getting a little bit too cocky for myself, should we say, with that. And it hasn't happened since. It felt like someone punched me in the back, but it was with such a force that I stumbled forward and nearly fell over.
Wow.
And now remember, I'm a novice at this. This is really a novice. I've not experienced anything like this. When I come up, the people who were in the room, and there was sort of about 5 crew in the room, said that it wasn't me, which wasn't great. And I was full of this hatred. And apparently I was walking down the room where these women were, calling them all bitches. And then had a go at one of the guys who was videoing. Literally, they had to get me down, get me out. That took me 4 days to get over. And luckily it hasn't happened since. I've been far more respectful and more protected now. But that was a lesson to me. And it
Absolutely.
That was a tough lesson.
Is this the same as this one that Craig's put and gone? I'm hoping it comes up. Craig's put, has Mark ever got scared on an event?
Scared? I don't know if you could call it scared. Uncomfortable. But as to sort of jumping out my skin and thinking, you know, or whatever, not really. I mean, like I say, the closest would be the battlefield northeast front. But that is being uncomfortable. That is not so much scared. Scared, no. And I have seen full-bodied apparitions, but at the time I saw them, I couldn't say I was scared, because the first time I said, "Are you having a laugh?" So, yeah. It's yeah. I suppose I'm just reminded now, funny enough, about a time we did Verdun, and there was 5 of us this time in a minibus. And you talk about scared. If it is scared, then this is probably the closest thing to it, maybe. And like I say, we had a medium in the front. I was actually sitting in the back of this van. It was a transit van. And we were sitting in the back of the van, and the guy we were with said, "We need to leave in a minute because things aren't right here," you see. And I'm sitting about thinking, yeah, you're just saying that to wind us up. Well, he then said, no, just wait a minute. And then I can see right down the van started rocking from side to side. Now, there's no one there. There really is no one there. That happened a couple of times, and then we left. We just, okay, enough now, we'll leave. So that's the closest I've come to being scared. I think, you know, I'm one who believes that you get people who want to do lone vigils, for instance. But what do you get out of a lone vigil? Not being funny, because if you do see or hear something, there's no one there with you to confirm that you've seen or heard anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's more to do with pushing their own boundaries or something like that.
Yeah, that's overcoming fear, which is great. Yeah.
Lynn has asked, what equipment do you like using?
Good question, Lynn. I'm one of these people, you know what they're like, who believe in the best piece of equipment is yourself. That's what I would say. You know, you have all your senses, and therefore someone moves close, the more you do it, you know where they are. However, there are bits of equipment I do like. I mean, say, one of them is the SLS camera. I really enjoy using that. Um, we use body cams, and then obviously the other things like REM pods. Oh, and the latest one, I must admit, the one I do like using the SDS method.
Yeah, we
Um,
do use the Estes method quite a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. The only thing with the SDS method is we've sort of adapted it for us and the people that we go with, and that is that we put foam earplugs in before you put the noise reduction headphones on, so you
Yeah,
decrease the amount of noise which they can hear even down even further.
yeah,
And when we're talking from about 12 feet. We're not sitting next to them. We're 12, 15 feet away, and we're talking in a normal tone.
yeah,
Then we just go with white noise. And that is really interesting. That is really interesting.
absolutely,
The only thing
absolutely.
is that it can then take you a little bit further, and I suppose you become close to doing trance with it because you're dropping so far down because you become totally absorbed with the white noise that in a way it has worked for us where people have come up with things, and it's like me, the mystic stuff, where you get it in your throat, you have to say it, you have to say what's there, and it's been really interesting.
Absolutely.
Those experiments are really interesting with that, you know.
Right.
And of course, Connor Randall. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if people out there have seen Helia at all.
Yeah, I've seen Elia.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
people have,
that's interesting.
yeah, you've got to watch Helia. Helia is really, really very interesting. We were
Greg and
lucky.
Dana Newkirk.
That's the one. We were lucky enough to meet them, weren't we, at Sage Paracom?
Yes, we were. We were, yeah.
And there, when on Helia, you'll watch the guy who designed it, Connor Randall. Now, he only called it the SDS method because that's where he first used it at the SDS site in Colorado. So he called it the SDS method. And when he does it on
Yeah.
Helia, you notice, Amy, he starts to rock backwards and forwards.
Forwards, yeah.
He's making rocking motions. So it is like he's dropping into some type of semi-trance or whatever. And this stuff comes through. So, yeah, it's interesting. Once again, if you haven't tried it, you've got to try it.
Absolutely. Kevin Adlow has put. So I've got Lynn Bishop's question there. It won't come off the screen for some reason. So so that's just staying there for a minute. Oh, it's come up now. It says, if you could die for one day, would you? It's a bit of an unusual question.
No, that's actually a really good question. I suppose you would get to know the truth about, does one leave the Earth plane and fly forward?
Yeah.
Die for 24 hours. I think as long as there's physical harm to me afterwards, then I would say yes.
Absolutely.
I think it would be something that, yeah, well, it might not be. It might be totally. What it would be totally enlightening, wouldn't it? You would know the
Yeah.
truth. You would know the truth.
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't be allowed to say anything afterwards.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Craig has put, have you any new equipment you're to use when COVID's gone?
Well, yeah, because I'm buying a new SLS camera. That's going to be a new piece. Our body cams, which we've only used two body cams, which we only used a little bit, and we bought our latest piece of equipment the other day, which is the Ouija board. People can see that. That Ouija board was made in 1947, and it was made by the Ford company, which actually were the ones, the original makers of the board, before Parkinson's and Haribo took them over. Hasbro, not Haribo, that's sweet. Hasbro took them over.
All right. Ant has asked, what advice would you offer to anyone starting out?
Are we talking out on what, investigating or personal? Uh, personally, can we have a bit more depth? Is that with
I'm probably
Dave
starting out in the paranormal for a guess, or starting out in your own team.
in your own team? Tough one. We never. I mean, say we have worked for numerous teams. To be honest with you, over the years, up north, big companies. If you're starting out, I mean, it's learn the trade, and I know that sounds very easy, but it's the more you do, the more you'll
Research,
watch the crew
research, research.
members, how they deal with the public. Um, you obviously pick up the good points. Obviously, every crew person's got a good and bad point, so you can pick up the good points. You can cherry pick basically, off them, so to speak. And yeah, the things I will say on an event I have picked up from other people. You know,
Absolutely.
that's what I mean. But it's only the only way you can do it really is to get the investigations under your belt. The more you do,
Definitely.
the more proficient you become at it. It's like anything, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I
Right,
hope
Caroline has
Oh.
put, good evening. Can you please ask Mark if he follows any form of routine before he goes on a vigil to prevent an attachment, i.e. love to ground, protect and always wear my cross. Silly but superstition.
Hello, Caroline.
So,
No, I don't think any of that is superstitious. I don't. What I always do before we get to investigation, we will always. I will always meditate before I get there. I will always do it, even if it's only sitting in the car and doing a 10-minute wind down. I will always sit on my own, calm myself down, connect with my guides, and ask them to be with us with me in the evening through the night. I do then, as you probably do know, that I will ground myself, and I tend to put myself in my. People use white bubbles. Some people use mirrors. It's suit of armor, whatever you to deflect the negativity coming against you. And the biggest thing of all, Caroline, doing this is it's what intent you have in your heart when you do it. This is the biggest form of protection. It's like me. My first time, I was cocky, I was a bit arrogant, and I got exactly what I deserved. And if you go down there respectful, knowing that you're protected and knowing that your guides are with you, and they're going to let any harm come to you, you'll be fine.
absolutely. I've got another question. What are you scared of, if anything?
What am I scared of? Now, that's a good question, actually. Who asked that one?
That's off Kevin Adlow.
Kevin, thank you for that question. You put me on the spot there, mate. What am I scared of? Oh, dear. If we mean paranormal, I suppose the only thing the only thing I think a lot of fear is psychological, and I'm scared of being scared. Maybe if that makes sense, I'm scared of not being that much in control of my thoughts that I become that way. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sorry, Kevin, but
No, I can understand that. Another one from Kevin Adlow. Do you think period objects or sounds help at investigation, i.e. Morse code, in war-related venues?
Yes, I do. Totally. We have done it where we have recorded 20s ballroom music. We've actually recorded Morse code.
Yeah.
Songs from the Second World War, played them at various locations, and that can assist. I mean, say you think if you are stuck there if you were there from the 20s or 40s, whatever, because you like the place, and you hear something that you can associate with, it kind of relaxes things, I think. And yeah, we have used that type of method, and it does work.
I know it does, right? No, up at the centre where I do a lot of stuff. Neil was given a Morse code tapper, right? And he asked me if I could do anything with it. Well, I kind of made it work. I got a light and a buzzer, so when you tapped it, it lit up and buzzed. So and we've had some fantastic responses from that, and it was like a World War II one as well. So it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Also, we find responses once again. It's going back to our trips abroad. French and German speak in French and German, which work
Yeah.
for us, and the same here. I mean to say, if it's a place where the French visited, then if you know a little bit of French, try a little bit of French. Make them feel
Bonjour,
like
quelle est votre date de naissance, bonjour?
we're showing up. We're just showing up.
A little bit of French. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I do speak a little bit.
I just get German.
Not much.
No.
I only know one word in German and it's not polite. um, Craig has asked, Mark, would you stay overnight in an haunted location on your own?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I would. The reason I say that, Craig, is nothing to do with being a little bit sort of nothing, right? Because you probably would to a degree. However, Sue has this habit, and it is people say, "Oh, that's lovely." She likes taking us to old hotels which are haunted. So she'll surprise me and say, "Oh, I booked this lovely hotel." And you look at it and you think, "Do you know what? That's really nice." Get there and you find it's the haunted bedroom, or someone sort of chucked themselves out the window there. This type of thing, just to see what we pick up what happens during the night. And one place we went to in Wales, a place called Nantos Mansion. We're there, and she booked us in this bedroom. Lovely suite. Oh, it's fantastic. It was lady of the manors room and everything. And so during the night, I woke up at 3 o'clock and I hear something at the end of the big suite. Hear footsteps on the old creaky boards and thought, oh yeah, didn't think much all of it. And then I heard the car keys going. Once again, thought that's interesting. And then it just started noises, tappings around the room. And I always remember saying in my head, and this was about 20 minutes later, thinking, look, I need to get to sleep, guys. Thanks for coming, but I really need to get to sleep. And with that, I did fall asleep. In the morning, I woke up and Sue said to me, did you hear all those noises last night? She'd been awake as well and not said a thing. We're just laying there both awake, not saying anything, just listening to what was going on. So, yeah, I don't mind staying in haunted locations. Once again, I think it is, the psychological effect of all this is haunted. But hey.
Absolutely. I'm just looking for some more answers. Well, I'm waiting for a question. Don't forget to like and share it. And if you put the arts up, it bumps our viewing ratings up a little bit as well. So, Mark, what's the best evidence you have got on using your equipment? Only if this hasn't been asked. Jacqueline Hancock. What's the best piece of evidence you've got using equipment?
The best evidence using equipment. Good question. It's there's a few I can think of, Jacqueline. Nice question again. Okay. Not that I've seen, obviously. Not that I've seen. Probably the best evidence we got is spirit. Spirit in with voices is probably the best. And that was, I got it on camera, and we've been downstairs, 4 guys. 2 of those guys were what you would call skeptical. And me and another chap, we got upstairs. My camera was still running. I didn't know it was still running. We walked into bedroom 2, or bedroom 1, sorry, on the left. as we walked in, the sign was saying really quite loud, we heard a woman's voice singing. And they all turned around and looked at me and said, "What's that? Did you hear that?" And I told them, "Well, yeah, I did hear it, you know." And the two skeptics suddenly were then looking for reasons why this singing, you know, are there any speakers in the room, this type of thing, which there weren't, obviously. So we got that. And it wasn't until I played the video back when we got home later that I realised I'd caught her singing on the video. And that was really good. That was really good. There was another one on a video where I unfortunately got channeled at Guy's Cliff House. And that was with a light moving in behind me when it started. When it finished, you see a light moving away. So that was interesting. So yeah, they're the best piece of evidence. Obviously, I then heard EVPs, quality EVPs, where you can hear the word nice and clearly, and it's not sort of a scratchy noise. You can hear it clearly. We heard one in Scotland in the Nidri Street vault where it said never. And this Scottish girl was really surprised, and she could actually, you know, you could hear it as plain as day, like I'm talking to you now, saying never, but in Scottish accent.
Wow.
Good question.
Amazing.
Good question.
Craig has asked an unusual question. Mark, hang on. Keeps showing up and keeps hiding again. Mark, would you do the school project, and do you believe in the findings?
The school project? Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, the skull project was done over in Norfolk.
Oh, the skull project. I've read that at school.
Yeah, a bit old for that, Amy. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I know, tell me about it.
Yeah. But I think the thing is, I would love to take part in that, Craig. Really would, mate. The problem is you have to have dedicated people who can meet up regularly at the same time, at the same place, to keep that normality with the communication. Once you stop that, once someone drops out, or I can't do it, and whatever, I really believe that's when you break the link. I think you have to have it where you have the same people every week, same location, same seats around the table, and yeah, I believe it. I do think it works. I do think it would work again. Funny enough.
Right. Next question. Lynn wants to know: do you own any haunted objects?
Funny you ask that, Lynn. Did own a haunted object. It was I think it was an old monk. It was an old. We bought it from second hand. A small ceramic monk for some reason. I suppose because we liked it at the time. We don't normally buy tap, but anyway, we bought this little monk, and it was sat on the unit in the dining room, and he looked lovely up there. He was quite happy, so we thought. After a couple of days, we found that me and Sue were really arguing, and I mean say arguing over tiny things. Really, really negative. I mean, the negativity in a property was unbelievable. And at the time, we had two chinchillas who were sitting near where this monk was. The chinchillas, funny enough, would not go near that side of the cage the monk was. Would only stay over the one side of the cage, huddled up in a box. They wouldn't come over that side, which is strange for them. This went on for about 10 days, I suppose. And then I think Sue said, "Is it anything to do with this?" So I think she dumped it at work. She put it in the skip at work. And but once again, the strange thing is when it was gone, that following evening, the chinchillas all around the cage again. So maybe it was Prince. I don't know. But it's one of those things. We still argue a lot, but hey, we can't blame a monk.
Absolutely. Jill Page has asked, have you ever seen a spirit or ghost or at any of the locations you have investigated? Yes,
Jill. One of the is going to be screened on TV in March.
Wow.
Did an interview for a television station last year, and unfortunately you're sworn to secrecy on these things, but it's a new show coming out in March. and I was interviewed by the team, the crew there, about my experience. So I'm unfortunately I can't talk about that. What I will talk about though is one at Woodchester Mansion, the famous Woodchester. And I don't know if you've ever been, and if not, get a chance to go, but do it in the summer. When you leave the crew room, the only warm room in the property, I might add, you have to go outside. You have to walk back past the chapel. Do you know that one, Amy? The
Yeah,
corridor past the chapel. There's a small room next to the chapel.
there is.
I
Yeah,
went out for a break, and it would have been a summer's because there was light in the property. And as I walked past on the peripheral vision, I saw someone, and I stopped and looked to the right. Never turned to the right. I looked to the right, just turned my head right, and there was a lady there standing there, against the window. Her hands, I presume, I couldn't see her hands, so I presume they were on the windowsill. She was probably from, wow, the way she was dressed, I would say 1700s maybe, not sure. Her hair was all really high at the back. It was blonde. I presume it was a silk gown she had, which was touching the floor. And I'm seeing this. Now, what you got to remember is this all, I saw this within inside a couple of seconds. This is the thing. You're not standing there thinking like Ghostbusters where they're flying around for 20 minutes. This is a 2-3 second thing. I saw her and I stood and was staring at her. She then turned towards, I'm behind her, obviously. She then turned and I get the profile. And as I got a profile, she'd gone. Now, there was no
wow.
light, there was no smoke. There was nothing. It was like, light on, light off. It's like that. But once again, it didn't frighten me. I was really interested. I actually remember saying thank you when she went. I just remember saying
Was
thank
she
you.
in solid form, or was she, or could you see through her?
The energy or the spirits or the people, I'll call them people, okay? Because as you know, when you do these things, we say, oh, to the spirits in the building. The trouble is, of course, is do they know their spirits? Or do they
Exactly.
still,
That's my pet hate. That is. I don't call for spirits. I always call for people.
or do you
No,
still
it's.
profit?
I class them as people.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the people I've seen have been solid, and I mean solid, the same as you. Um, Certainly with the lady in the window, although it was light and I could see her, she blocked out the light.
Yeah.
The other one I saw, Margam, a young boy, once again, he was standing against a brick wall. It is fairly dark at Margam, but he was stood against the
It
brick
is.
wall,
Yeah.
but once again, his shape totally blacked out the wall. So, yeah, they were solid figures. And believe me, it's not as frightening as you think it is. It's actually
No.
quite interesting. And I take it as a compliment that they've allowed me to see them.
Absolutely. Right, Kevin Adlow has another question for you. Have you ever done a Victorian investigation, i.e., just candles and seance, etc., no electronic equipment?
Kevin, if you set it up, I'm coming. I would love to do it. I would love to do one of those, really. I actually think if you could set the mood where everybody was in the 18th century fancy dress, that would be fantastic. I really would do a Victorian seance. We went to a Victorian seance once, which wasn't a Victorian seance. Basically, they advertised that. We paid a lot of money and got there, and it was a con. Yeah, a big S over my head. There we go. We turned up, but no, a Victorian seance with the candles, and the people around the table. That would be great. I'd love to do one.
Jacqueline's put, Mark, what's the best evidence you have got on... Oh, she's already asked that one.
Yeah.
I won't ask that one again. Hang on.
Get off.
What piece of kit have you had the most compelling evidence from?
That would be the video. That would be the singing on the video. It's strange. I mean, say different bits of give you bits of different evidence. I mean, so we've had evidence, I suppose, through the talking boards. But the most, a lot of evidence through the talking boards. But the piece of kit, if we're talking about electronic kit, then it would be the camera then then it would come down to the EVP. But like I say, the talking boards to us has always worked well.
Absolutely. I'm just seeing if anyone has left another one. No, I'm gone.
Okay.
Oh, Gary wants to know if we can see this video from Mark.
We'll have a look at Gary.
Trudy's put, what's your thoughts on orbs caught on the camera?
Oh. Nice one, Trudy. Nice easy. Nice easy one. Thank you for that. Oops, camera. Yeah, tough one for me. I'm not a great believer on them, to be honest with you. I think 99.9% of orbs on cameras are dust. I do.
Absolutely.
And I do think, however, I have seen Spirit Light. And once again, I've got that in camera. We've actually got that on camera.
I've got that on my camera as well.
Yeah, because who does automatic writing? When we did Aldermaston, not Aldermaston, sorry, we did Bisham Abbey, where the England football team used to train. The old house there, they used to allow you to investigate it. We were in the attic, just me and Sue and myself, and she said there was someone here, and she wanted to write. And normally Sue just grabs a pen, sits down, and it was pitch black anyway. We couldn't see anything, so she just sits down, and I can hear her scribbling on the paper. And I had the camera up, and I don't know why I was scanning around saying, "Look, if you're here, Sue's writing for you. Can you do something?" And with that, I saw a flash of light under the window. So I thought, "Oh, that's really nice." See? And she's still scratching away. And so when I come back, I said, "Thank you for that. Can you do it again?" And with that, there was 2. 1, 2. And I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, orbs for me, though, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You do get coloured orbs. Saying that, you do get coloured orbs. But once again, it's that light refraction.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the difference between dust orbs and a real orb. Whereas a dust orb, it reflects light, whereas a real orb produces its own light.
Yeah. Real orbs are solid light. They are solid light. You get them. Right. Oh, look, I can see it, and everybody can see a face in a dust orb, can't they?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But that's like pareidolia.
Yeah.
So people, the brain, it tries to make sense of what it's seeing. So, like if you're seeing pictures in the clouds and that, it'll automatically see a face or something because it's your brain trying to.
And that's on the same lines as EVPs, of course.
Absolutely, sound pareidolia.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you get an EVP and the person says, "Wow, I just heard Billy on this," although it was just scratchy noise, and you say, "Did you hear Billy? Can you hear Billy?" And of course, you're then looking for the word Billy within that noise, and you will find it. And
absolutely.
That EVPs, we always with EVPs we always ask, "What do you think that said?" Ask other people what they think it said. It's psychological. You're imprinting this thought in their mind originally that there's someone Billy here. But yeah, interesting subject.
Absolutely. And Kevin again, if you could go back in time, what period would you go back to?
I think that's been the English Civil War. English Civil War, Kevin. That's what I feel most attached to, that era. I'm lucky enough to work in a place at the moment which is an old property and has a lot of connections with the English Civil War. And I just love the era for some reason. I have no idea
Maybe you was there in a past life.
Well, funny enough, where I work was actually I can't tell you. I can tell you. Where I work was actually a stronghold for royalists. You see, so the Cromwell's boys came up and wanted to take it, and they put this place under siege for 6 months. The eventual general who took the place was called Major General Brown. Interesting.
Absolutely. Dee wants me to ask you something, but she hasn't actually put what she wants me to ask you, so
Yes,
God knows what that is.
I use my psychic. What do you want to talk about? I'll tune in, see.
And Diane Caroline Drake, what's the truest film that you have seen that depicts the paranormal? That's a really good
Uh,
question.
Good one, Di. True. I'll tell you what, one of the ones which was on lately, and this makes me, is one called The Others. Have you ever seen the film called The Others?
Nicole Kidman.
That's the one where they don't realise what's happened to them.
Yeah,
Um, Other ones depicting the paranormal, I mean, they say most of them have demons and evil in it, don't they, as far as I can see? Yeah, Hellier. Hellier, probably the series Hellier, and like I say, you saw it. Because, of course, the paranormal is not just
yeah,
about spirits and ghosts, it's anything that can't be explained by known reasons or scientifically. So, yeah, Hellier is a good one to watch. That definitely gets the brain cells working, Hellier. Definitely worth looking at.
absolutely. Willie asked, do you believe in demons?
Uh, I think I said it. I don't know if you listened earlier, Willie. I said that the thing I saw at Woodchester, I don't believe it ever walked this earth or it ever meant to walk this earth. But saying that, I think a lot of we all hear the word demon, don't we, on American TV when they're doing their show. I've got a demon in the kitchen cupboard, and I've got a demon under the stairs, and there's one that lives in the attic. I think a lot of these negativity, I put a lot of it down to negativity. Grumpy people who are a bit miserable, sometimes they can take it with them, I believe, and I think, I know the Enfield poltergeist is a classic case. That was turned from
Absolutely.
quite an thing into they made a movie of it, and it was a horror film. They
Yeah,
have big demons who want to drag everybody to the pits of hell. So demons, do they exist? Because of what I saw, I would have to say to a degree, yes, but like I say, I've done about 500 investigations, and once in 500. And also, I go again with your attitude towards how you approach the event and how you feel, how you are yourself.
absolutely. Lisa Vance, she's put, that's the kind of development I would have to be involved with. Oh, I think that's something to do with the Skull Project. Like,
Okay, let's get
um,
together then.
just looking to um, hang on. Who's got the questions for Mark or Amy? Oh, hang on. Think that may have been. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got people just talking between themselves, so I'm just trying to decipher. Yeah. Where would you like to go ghost hunting with GHT? That's Andy. Right. I've got another question for you. Are you scared of the dark?
No, no, I'm not.
No.
No, the dark is your friend. For me, it's the dark is your. Maybe that's because of my work history, but you can always, if you're standing in the dark, you can see into the light. If you're standing in the light, you can't see in the dark, can you? Do you know what I mean? You can see out of.
Absolutely. Um, Kevin's also put, do you walk into a room and immediately pick up on energy or presence?
Can do, Kevin. Yeah, yeah. I think. Although saying this, I mean, so we go then. When you're talking about energy, of course, you could be talking about the stone tape theory, which is quite interesting. You know that one, Amy, don't you?
Yeah.
The stone tape theory, and I don't know. Yeah, the emotions within the property can get absorbed into the actual framework of the building, and that's why we walk into a house, we either like it or we don't like it. And that's your senses picking up on what has gone on in that property. So yeah, I think I think I would say yes. I do what is called. It sounds silly because there's a film. It's called knowing. You can walk into a room, and although you can't see it, you know there is something there. You instinctively know.
Gary's put, have you ever had contact with someone famous?
we have using a talking board, and the interesting thing is that I don't think even we realised who we were talking to. This is okay. We believed it was George Michael who made contact.
Okay.
However, Coombe Abbey, or we went to
Yes.
Coombe Abbey.
Yeah, Coombe Abbey's amazing. Absolutely fascinating place.
Too true to form, booked us into a suite at Coombe Abbey for the Safe Paracom event. It was actually the suite that David Bowie used to stay in when he stayed there.
Oh, wow.
David Bowie, of course, really, really liked that suite. So every time he was in the UK around the area, toward the Midlands, he would always stay in the suite. And we didn't know that, you see. We didn't know about David Bowie initially. We liked the suite. So because the suite was really nice, we started doing some sort of, asking out and everything. And Sue wanted to sat at this table and said, I need to write now. She was sitting at the desk. So I went and watched the telly. And she's writing away. And about half an hour later, she comes up with this writing. And it's such interesting reading. It's a shame, like I say, we can't get this sort of. We might be able to get it on the GHT website or something. But really interesting. Everything. It sounds like Bowie. The way the words are formed, and the way in which he uses the words, are very, very Bowie-ish, I would say. So yeah, that was interesting. However, he didn't. The only other thing, funny enough, when we had that room, was that we come back one morning after going to breakfast, and Sue said, "Have you tidied the coffee pots up?" And I said, "No," because the milk jugs had all been arranged in a little triangle. And I said, "No, I've not done that." And I took one anyway and put the rest back in the thing. We went out, come back, and they were arranged back in a triangle again, which is interesting. I think one of his LP covers was with a pyramid.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Was it David Bowie? I have no idea. But
absolutely.
You did mention at the end that he was partying with Freddie Mercury. Oh yeah. So who knows? But yeah,
absolutely. Ant's asked, "Are you a medium, Mark?"
Yes, I am. Not practicing at the moment for obvious reasons. Stuck inside. But yeah, I do. But the thing is, Ant, this isn't from birth like people like Diane Trudy. This is a lot of hard work, and it's doing an awful lot of hours, learning and developing your skills, which we all have. I mean to say, not everybody can be a medium, but everybody can be psychic, and we all have these. We're all born with these skills. The trouble is, of course, is once our minds become corrupted by the world we live in, they're forgotten about, and that's why young children, see spirit far easier than adults, because they don't judge; they just go with what they see. But no, it can be done. You join a good development groups and go regularly, and it is about building yourself up and going forward with who you believe you are.
Absolutely. And Jackie has put, what do you think of the ideomotor syndrome?
The ideomotor syndrome, right? And we all know what that is, of course. Don't we? I can't hear you, Trudy. Trudy!
Where is she when you need her?
Yeah, the ideomotor syndrome basically is where you subconsciously move things, and this is what it does. It is electrical. It is electrical impulses. It's because you're looking for something. You want something to happen. You want to contact somebody that you can use pendulums, for instance. Is a good article. A pendulum will tell you. The pendulum will tell you what it wants to tell you, because you're controlling it. Okay. It can be used in healing when it's totally different, but you ask a pendulum a question, it'll probably 9 times out of 10 I will tell you what you want to hear. And it's the ideomotor system, and it is the brain producing electronic sort of fluctuations And anything now, it happens on Ouija board, it's talking boards and glass, that people just don't know they're doing it. Like, they're not doing it purposely. It is the involuntary movement under the skin.
Absolutely.
Google it.
Right. Kevin Adlow, have you ever done a regression session? And if not, would you?
Yes, I have. My wife's actually a regressionist. Sue actually does regression.
Wow.
When she was training, I was one of the guinea pigs. Oh, joy. And I mean, say, I don't want to bore people with my personal sort of things, but it's interesting in the fact that it's not what I thought it was at all. Not what I thought it was at all. And it was 2 hours I was out. 2 hours. And I didn't even believe I was under, but I was. 2 hours later, it's like, really?
Wow.
I'm out with. All that you see, like I said, you don't realise you go deep down. You don't realise that how far you go down until you wake up and you think, blimey. So very interesting. Get it done. Go to a good one though.
Absolutely. We have one last question because it is nearly 9 o'clock already.
Blimey.
So, that's flown by. Laura has asked, if you could investigate somewhere that isn't currently allowed, where would it be?
I think that would have to be Hampton Court.
Yeah. Mine would be the Tower of London.
Yeah. Hampton Court, either one of those. Good question, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of places open up after we come to some semblance of normality, though, because of course they want a little bit of cash, aren't they?
Absolutely. Like some of these places that have not been open, like open to paranormal investigations, they might think twice about it now because they need to claw back money.
That's right.
Like, so they might. So yeah. Right. It is nearly 9 o'clock, everybody, and after the show, it's Trudy on the Trudy Psychic Tarot Kent page. So if you'd like to tune in to Trudy, please do. Leave your art, please share the love and keep sharing. And I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and next week we have got the lovely Shell Buckley. So, and she's part of the Welsh crew, so if you want to tune in, please do. So I want to say thank you, Mark, for joining me.
Hey, Amy, thank you very much for all the questions. I appreciate them. And thank you for listening to me for an hour.
Absolutely, there's still loads more questions we haven't even answered yet. What people have asked. So if you want to have a look through the questions afterwards, you're more than welcome. So thank you so much for joining us again, and hopefully you'll come back and join us again soon.
Well, yeah, I'm quite happy to talk about it. Like I say, I just don't want to bore people.
Oh, you're not boring anyone. You're really interesting. I've really enjoyed speaking with you tonight.
Thanks.
It's been really good.
Okay.
So, thank you so much anyway for joining us. And bye, everybody, and see you soon.
Cheerio.
Right. Bye.